I think I'm tough enough. I don't need a jacket.
We could like relocate the camera. So see how we're not in the middle. I like being in the middle of the screen, and I'm not moving over. Yeah. There we go. We got a few minutes, right? There we go.
Better?
Well, I don't know. Let's try that. Okay. Glenn, your Challenger Ultralight 2.0 Ultralight is in the pipeline. In fact, it is painted.
Which one is that?
That's the Ron Burgundy one, as I recollect.
Yep.
There's some other ones over there too that are painted. Hi Dave, hi Dan, hi Terry, hi Steve, hi Brian, hi Pete, hi Mike with the hat, hi Van Shank Guitar, hi Doc. Hey, did you know what Doc did today?
I heard that he signed up.
He did,
for
and he's
a class in May.
In May,
and his nephew, cousin, brother,
something or another. Someone who I'd see that product placement there.
Nice.
Yeah, he did something that I have been wanting somebody to do for a long time now, and we may have had one other person do that. But he signed up with a family member. You could bring a friend or whatever. But he's doing a workshop that he's already done.
Oh, okay.
So it's like he's coming out, and I think it's more of a like, I want to go and have a good time with this friend of mine or my cousin or nephew. And forgive me, Doc, because I can't remember if it was cousin or nephew or what exactly. But he called me last night and said, "Hey, do you have any spots in the May workshop?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure we do." And so he signed up today. That was super, super cool.
That is good.
Oh,
good.
I also have some terrible news. The all black Challenger is gone with the Filtertrons. Woo, man, that thing was boss. And it was like in Star Wars when the guy bought it, Jeffrey bought it.
Yeah.
I could hear thousands of Jimmy followers who, and me too, because that guitar was so cool.
And we can never make another one.
Well, hopefully we can, but that had the ultralight body with a maple neck, which is something we never normally do. Normally we would do the ultralight body. It has a mahogany neck because that's lighter. But this one had a ultralight body with maple neck, and the neck was painted the same color as the body, which is another thing we never do. And it was intergalactic, and it was wildly cool, and it had Filtertron, Megatron, Supertron, and woo, man, that was a cool guitar.
It was.
So, Chris, Dylan gave us a shout out today.
He did.
Yes, he did on Instagram, and he said,
I saw.
Did you?
Yeah.
So he said, lots of P90 pickups headed off to Texas Toast Guitars today. Have you got your Challenger Level 1 yet? And a couple people have. So that was a cool thing. And I said in the Instagram post, like I commented, because, you can do that. I said that you and I spent about an hour yesterday comparing pickups. And far and away, the Dylan P90s were, did you read what I posted?
No.
Okay. How would you describe, like in the elevator pitch, how would you describe what the difference is? Like what set the Dylan pickups apart from?
Well, the first thing that I thought of was they're just more musically pleasing. Yeah, they're not harsh. They're fuller.
We're using words that you normally
that I usually
hate.
Right? Yeah. But no, they're fuller. They're smoother. I think smooth is a good word for what they are. The other ones kind of hit the amp and then almost like hit it again.
Weird
kind of.
I was gonna make a wise ass comment like about creamy or whatever, but
yeah.
But you're right though.
Well, that goes with the smoother,
smooth and creamy.
Yeah.
They
not lumpy.
no. But
like peanut butter.
But yeah, they weren't. Well, but they did have some chunk.
Crunchy. Well, yeah,
and they might have been crunchy.
Yeah, but I mean, they were. Yeah, it was just. They're just more musical. Just they were woodier.
Well, what I liked was when you goose the amp to the overdrive channel. Those P90s just sound nasty and cool, and like I'm going to use words that don't describe sounds at all. Nasty, sleazy. They were just like if you were on the Sunset Strip and had a leather jacket and spikety hair in the mid 80s.
Yeah,
that's the guitar. Those are the pickups that you'd want.
Yeah.
If you were running through like a Marshall,
they just sound really good, and it was weird because the other ones sound okay. They sound pretty good.
Yeah,
but not the same.
And I don't know what sort of special sauce Dylan's using to make them. I mean, I've seen him do them, but I can't explain it.
Yeah, they sound really, really good.
The other thing that I like is once you get a bridge sound that you like and you switch to the neck pickup or vice versa, that sound is also usable.
Yeah, they're complementary.
Thank you. That's exactly what.
Which is funny because he doesn't really wind them differently. I mean, one's not hotter than the other.
Yeah.
So they're just good pickups.
So guys, the Challenger Level 1 loaded package is still going on. And you're going to want to get in on this action because when you see the reveal tomorrow, I have a feeling Texas Toast Guitars is going to get really, really busy.
Yeah, I think so too.
So get your order in while you can. We've got Dylan pickups on the way. We've got a bunch of guitars that are like kind of just waiting for pickups. Yeah. Waiting for pickups. We put them in there. What?
It's pretty darn close.
Does it just need pickups?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all painted.
Okay.
Needs a little bit of buffing and assembly.
So J Van B, who has been waiting patiently, and he's one of the many people who's been waiting patiently. His guitar we're waiting on pickups, and the bridge is in it, and it's got a trim. Okay, that's right. Yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah,
but we have the bridge.
But yeah, those guitars aren't overly difficult to assemble. And
okay.
We have all the parts except for pickups. So yeah, there will be not next week and not the following week.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, there will be a bunch of guitars that start to get assembled.
So the reason that Chris says it's going to be 2 weeks is because starting Monday, we have a very cool, super exciting Build a Classic Fender workshop. And we're going to have 7 guys in the shop making their dream guitars. And then after that, it's the week, the Thanksgiving week. So we're not going to do a thing on Thursday. We're not going to do a thing on Friday. So,
right.
Yeah. But after that, we should have a bunch of neat stuff to show you guys.
Yeah.
However, unless the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we are going to have a reveal tomorrow that I think is going to make you say, whoopee.
Me?
Yeah.
I know what it is. So
I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt that. Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not looking at the comment section right now, guys, but I promise you,
unless a super chat comes in and then we both go.
Yeah.
Bing!
So guys, this is a woot woot. Guitar players describing sound like wine connoisseurs talk about the taste of wine, says Curtis. Thank you, Curtis. Devin says at my age, something smooth and musical could turn chunky at any time. I bet you could say that at any age up for
yeah.
I am particularly gray tonight. I don't.
The sound of these guitars, if we're describing it like wine, is very boozy.
Sean Joint, it is. Sean Joint asks a terrific question. And you know how I know Sean Joint asked a terrific question? He put a bunch of question marks to indicate hey, I'm not just talking to,
myself talk.
Lefty or Ken or somebody, which is totally cool. And I hope that you guys do that. Sean asks, do I still have time to buy the t-shirt to win the Challenger? Sean, do you mean the Challenger t-shirt that looks kind of like this? Yes. I was about to go. I was about to, be a wise ass. But yes, Sean, you have 1 week to do that. 1 week.
Okay.
So
I don't remember what the deadline was. Was it the 15th?
I think it was the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I guess I do remember.
So
look at me remembering things.
So a week from today, it'll actually be the 16th. So you have a little less than a week to do that. But if you go onto the Teespring page, you just go to the website, TexasToastGuitarist.com, click on merch. This is the shirt you want, the one that looks the most like this. Okay, it doesn't look exactly 100% like this, but it's black and white, and it says Texas Toast Guitars, has a Challenger.
It's got a slightly different headstock.
Has a Challenger. It's slightly different. This is the prototype shirt.
Right.
The shirt that you're going to get has the actual TTG headstock. So, okay.
Instead of Peru.
No, it doesn't. It's not Peru, sir. But anyway, yeah, you have
France.
About a week to, it's not France. You have about a week to get the shirt. And we're going to probably announce the winner like maybe a week from today, if we do it right. Yeah. Okay. So good luck to everybody who entered the buy a t-shirt, win a guitar contest. Let's take a super chat from Dylan Talks Tone, who says, doing something special for my level 2, ships next week. One of a kind. How cool is that going to be, sir?
It's going to be really cool.
What do you think? What do you think it's going to be? I actually have no idea.
I don't know. It's going to be, it's going to be some sort of cool pickups that fit a P90 hole.
We know that much.
Yeah. That's all we know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. What do we want to talk about before we get into our topic for tonight is we want to take a super chat from Brian Duncan, who says, something special like Dylan did to the back of my humbucker. Maybe.
Did he do something? I don't know what he did to the back of the humbucker. I remember what he did to the box.
Yeah, I don't 100% know.
Yeah. I don't remember what he did to the back of the humbucker. Probably the same thing.
Probably the same thing that Brian did to Dylan's guitar when he stopped it. If you kind of start pranking and you don't live near the shop, don't be surprised when your guitar gets some custom touches that you may or may not ever see.
That you may not see unless you tear it apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I was telling Steve yesterday, we like to, when we do a channel in a guitar with a top on it, we like to write swear words in the wiring channel.
You bet we do.
There. Yeah, that's the only time you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe someday somebody will see it. Probably not.
Probably not. So Steve said, "Can I do that?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
of course,
fine by me. He said, "Can I use a laser?" Yeah, whatever. Go crazy. We don't have a laser, so
use a pencil.
We use a pencil.
Yeah.
So anyway, gang, tonight's topic is Chris, tonight's topic, you know what it is?
Yes.
The 5 things that every guitar player is terrified to do.
Is this the definitive 5, or is this just a select 5?
This is the definitive list brought to you by Chris and myself. Chris, do you have? I know you didn't. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I want you to know that I did not just come up with this list off the top of my head. I'm not. Don't look over here. There's nothing to see. Don't look behind the curtain.
Okay.
This was not something that I've been thinking about this for weeks and weeks. I didn't just come up with this. Okay. All right. So but gang, this is my opinion, and I want to see what Chris, what you think of my list.
Okay.
And I want to see what you guys think of my list, and maybe we can add to them. So maybe we'll change them from 5 to like 8, or maybe we'll just eliminate some of the things that I had. But more to the point, you guys will probably agree with me 100% that I have the definitive list of the top 5 things that every guitar player is positively terrified to do to their guitar.
Are these in order, or
not in no particular order?
In no particular order.
But before we get to the list, I want to thank our good friends at Stuart McDonald, who made this video possible. Guys, link in the description below if you need tools or guitar parts or something like that. StewMac is absolutely your go-to source. And what's the best part, Chris? If you buy tools at StewMac?
And you use our oh well, there's a couple things. First for the end user, lifetime guarantee.
Yep. What does that mean?
It means if you damage a tool or if it wears out, they will replace it.
Ain't it cool?
That's pretty cool.
I like that.
Doesn't count if you lose it.
Unless you count sending it back there as a loss. But then you get a free tool. So don't. Yeah, I don't know how that
work.
Yeah. That's not. I was just
stuff.
Okay.
I lost it, but it was broken. Trust me. Oh, okay. We'll send you a new one. Okay.
All right. Well. Oh, so people are already putting in their. Don't jump ahead, gang.
Yeah. Don't.
I'm about to read you the definitive list. Now, do you want me to put this in any particular order?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's take a quick super chat from Corey before we get started on the list. This might be one of those things where if people just
Forgrave?
Yes.
Hey, Corey.
Corey Forgrave says, I got my red StewMac tool set today, but effed up and forgot to use your affiliate link. Here's your compensation. Oh, bless you, Corey. Thank you so much. And you don't have to use our affiliate link, but you should.
You should. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why wouldn't you?
Let me help you help me.
That's right. Thank you, Chris. All right, now don't look at my list. Okay? I'm going to move my list. You've seen enough of that already. Okay. All right. So, okay, you can look again. Come on, join the conversation. Okay. So, Chris, top 5 things that every guitar player is terrified to do to their guitar.
Okay.
In no particular order. Ready?
It's brought to you by the Cast of Seinfeld.
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's brought to you by Flipside Music, the great American guitar store in Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
Check out Ike and the Gang. I'm not doing this all day. I have to get to the list. But do check out Flipside Music. The destination store is wide open and ready for you to come inside.
Ready to party.
Okay.
Come inside our new store.
That's what I meant, of course, is, you walk in the door. Okay. Anyhow. All right, gang. The first one that I have, number 1 on that I wrote down. Top 5 things every guitar player is terrified to do with their guitar. Play the guitar. What is it about playing the guitar that seems to terrify guitar players? I think that guitars are made to be played. They're made to, I'm not saying that, guitar players ought to abuse their guitars, but, plug it in or just get it out of the case and strum away at it. If it's electric, crank it up and listen to the pickups. If you got Dylan pickups in there, you're going to be able to hear some really awesome stuff if you just play the damn thing. What say ye, Chris?
I agree. A lot of people are into guitars, but they're not necessarily into playing them.
Okay.
I don't think I want to go down that road. Let me start over.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's such a thing as you're scared you're going to hurt it. You're scared you're going to wear it out. I think just wear it out.
How many times do we hear people say,
wear it out?
Yeah.
But don't, the whole reason you bought it presumably was to play it.
Yeah.
And you should play it.
How many times have we heard people say things like, I got to have stainless steel frets? And then I'm like, well, how much do you play? Well, I don't really play that much.
Yeah.
Well, brother, one, you need to start playing and you don't need stainless steel frets. That's if you want stainless frets because you want them, cool. Or if you play a lot, fine. Or if you wrestle that thing into submission, great. But a lot of guys are terrified to play their guitar because, I think you're right, Chris. They're afraid they're going to wear the thing out. And they're like, oh, no, my guitar has to last me forever.
Right.
Chances are, if you play it every single day, it'll still last longer than you're going to be here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yep. And all those old guitars that are all worn to hell.
Yeah. They're cool.
Well, they are. And think about how old they are and how long they've been played. And that's what finish that falls off on its own.
Yep. Okay. So I'm not sure where we are in the chat section, guys. The The chat section is a lot like the Road Warrior, but don't be afraid to get in there and get your hands dirty. And we're gonna get through this. Yeah. So
maybe fire a crossbow.
Whatever. Yeah. Hey, Rusty Fenders is here. Gary is here. Cecil is here. Curtis is here. Dastardly Dave is here. Mike Jones is here. Hey, before we get to the rest of the list, we got lots of time. Is it bad to have a somber moment in the live stream?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, so we had a few, Texas Toast Guitars is truly a brotherhood, a fraternal organization. There also happens to be ladies who watch too. So I don't know what that, but we're a familial group here, I think. And so we lost a couple people this week or in the last 10 days. And I kind of want to just let some people know that we're thinking about them too. Jimmy's sister-in-law, Cindy, passed away the other day. And Tommy, his brother Tommy, watches us. And, he's known Jim his whole life because he's Jim's older brother. But so yeah, we were bummed out when we heard that Cindy passed. She was a neat lady. I got to meet her one time, and a super nice lady, very, very cool person. And we're sad to see her go. No two ways about that. Also, I just discovered this morning that Doug Santaniello had a death in the family, and it was his mom passed. And Doug, I'm sorry that to hear that, and I'm not trying to. I don't know. I'm bummed out that happened.
Yeah.
So Doug and Jim and Tommy, our thoughts are with you guys, and we hope that you are doing well. Let's take a quick super chat from Ken Tipton, who says, "Hey Matt, I believe you are ex-military. I'm not, Ken. And Vets Day is coming up. So if you did serve, thank you. If not, beer fund. Well, thank you so much, Ken. I did not serve. I am not a veteran, but I appreciate that. And I do, we are friends of the, of our vets. I have a lot of respect for the people who served in the military. So thank you to them. And Veterans Day is right around the corner, Chris. Let's take a super chat from Doc Silton, who says, everybody is afraid to suck, to be embarrassed by a lack of talent. But oddly enough, this can be cured by playing the damn guitar. Thank you so much, Doc. And you're absolutely 100% right. Bobby Dill sent us a super chat and says, just remember, the best guitars get played. When you see a mint old guitar, it makes me wonder why. There are, I think that the brand new looking guitars that are vintage, that don't look beat up, probably didn't sound very good. The chances of them being maybe I don't know.
There's some people that I think in some cases that might be true. In other cases, I think it's I think I want to play guitar. Oh, I suck at this.
And then they put it away. That. You know what? Let's hope so. Their loss is your gain if you get that guitar.
Yeah, because in the other, there could be a guitar that's really beat up and worn out that really doesn't sound that great. It's just that was the only option they had.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Brian Duncan sent us a super chat and says, couldn't have said it better myself, Doc. Doc's a smart guy. I mean, no, and Brian is too, but yeah, Doc is a he's a good man. All right. The second thing that every guitar player is positively terrified to do and shouldn't be terrified to do that. I should add that caveat. Adjust the truss rod. Do we have time for a quick visual aid?
Sure.
Can you go get that, or can
I'll
you
go
vamp
get
for
it?
You know
Which
where it
one
is?
do you want?
The one that's in the one that's in the sled over there, and I need a wrench too, sir. There might be one over here. But gang, I know for a fact that you have seen. No, it's on the shelf. I know for a fact that you have heard people say things like, "Oh man, I don't want to adjust the truss rod because I'm afraid I'm going to break it, or I don't know how to do it, or what have you." When you buy a Texas Toast guitar, we're actually working on some special videos right now that you'll get you'll get a QR code and you can scan it and you can watch this video that nobody else can see. And it's how to adjust the truss rod on your Texas Toast guitar, because it should be something that you should not be afraid to do. Because when your guitar leaves here, it's a fairly acrid environment here in Colorado, wouldn't you say?
Does that mean dry?
It's not humid.
Correct.
And if the guitar leaves here and goes somewhere where there's more moisture in the air, it's going to move around. Just like when you and I went to, we drove to Nashville, Tennessee with a bunch of guitars in the back of my my wagon, and we got there and they all needed a little tweak. So, gang, this is what the truss rod looks like. It's a 2-piece rod, and let me show you how easy it is to adjust the truss rod in the guitar. So, if you turn the adjustment wrench clockwise, you'll notice that the truss rod bows. If you turn it anti-clockwise, we'll go back to the 0 point. If you turn it anti-clockwise, it has a smiley face, kind of. I mean, you can see it's not a big smile, but okay.
Sort of like this.
Yeah. So and when it's in its neutral position, it's flat. Now, this is just a jig to show everyone how a truss rod works, but because on our guitars you cannot pull it out. Okay. So, but anyway, but yeah. So truss rods are super easy to adjust, and particularly the Texas Toast truss rod that we get from our good friends at Bitterroot Guitars. John and Cheryl are super nice people.
Yep.
We've been dealing with Bitterroot Guitars for many years, and they are excellent people to work with.
Yeah.
Bitterroot Guitars. Link in the description.
We did a video one time where we tried to break one of them. We twisted and twisted and twisted, and we never did. It finally just, I think the mechanism just bottomed out, and it was,
we just couldn't move it anymore.
Yeah, and then we turned it back the other way, and it was, and the truss rod was still fine. We did not use that truss rod on a guitar. However, we probably could have. And the weird thing is, I mean, how often do you hear about a truss rod breaking when somebody tries it? It's one of the.
I hear about it all the time.
It's almost like an old wife. Yeah, but how many people do you know? Yeah, a buddy of mine, or this buddy of mine's buddy. Or something like that.
That fender neck that's down there is supposed to have a busted truss rod. The one that has the Stevie Ray logo on it.
Oh, yeah.
That we've had here for a long time.
The vintage style truss rod.
Yeah, and it's not. It works just fine.
Yeah.
But Brett said, "Oh yeah, the truss rod's broken." I think. I'm like, it's not.
Yeah.
Dylan sent us a super chat and said, "But it will be heavier." I'm not sure if he's talking about this truss rod or what, but yeah.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, and the other thing too is I need to verify that kind of thing. It's got a broken truss rod. Oh, can I see? Can I play with it? Can I prove that it's not broken? Because those old style vintage truss rods, the threads are only so long, and that nut can bottom out on those threads, and it won't turn anymore. And so you think, oh well, it's not doing anything. Really, just put a little washer in there. Next thing you know, you're good to go again. Now,
I'm not saying it's impossible to break a truss rod, but it is rare that it happens.
And under normal adjustment, it's not going to break. No. I need to tweak the truss rod a quarter of a turn or a half a turn. These things move a lot with a quarter of a turn.
They do.
Some of those old ones, not so much. But if you're sitting there giving it 2 or 3 rotations and it's not doing what you need it to do, there's probably other issues with the guitar.
Yeah.
So yeah, under normal, twice a year kind of adjustments that a lot of people have to do because of weather and humidity. Yeah. You take the cover off, you twist it, you figure out which way it needs to go. You twist it a quarter of a turn.
With these truss rods that we use, I don't even like flex the neck and tighten. I actually use these rods to move the neck. The older style rods that like Gibson and Fender still use, and they're great. They work really well. I like to kind of bend or tweak the neck and then tighten or loosen the rod. And what it does is it holds the neck in the position I want it to be. And it's not, those truss rods are not designed to move the neck as much as they're designed to hold the neck. So, but the rods that we use, you actually can move the neck with them. And especially if you're talking about just a little tiny bit, just go ahead and give it a tweak. It's not gonna.
Yeah. Don't be scared.
Yep.
That there's a reason it's there.
Yep.
And that is to be used.
Curtis Chavez asks a great question. Dylan says the humidity will make it heavier. Curtis asks, besides weight and look, what other benefits would a mahogany neck have over a maple neck? Well, Curtis, I can tell you from a manufacturing standpoint that a mahogany neck has the advantage of being easier to machine. Easier to sand, easier to work. I love mahogany necks and I love maple necks.
By a lot. I mean,
well,
it's
yeah,
way easier to machine.
Yeah.
Way easier to shape.
Yep.
And sand.
Yep. So getting sanding marks out of okay, hold on. Another visual aid here. Yep. The guitar that we showed you guys last week, which by the way, I can't believe is still here. This is a neck through and it's maple. There were tons of scratches and little things that I had to really work hard to get out right around here. And it was a pain because it's a neck through. And it's not hard to do, but it's very labor intensive to get in here and work all these things out. So all those scratches had to come out. If this were mahogany, it'd have been a breeze. So shaping this whole neck actually wasn't difficult, but it was more difficult than it would have been if this neck was mahogany.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Yep. And mahogany, it's slightly softer. It sands easier. It's more homogeneous looking, so it also doesn't show a lot of that stuff.
I love mahogany necks and I love maple necks. But I think that one advantage of using mahogany from a manufacturing standpoint is ease of manufacturing.
Yep, I think so too.
Okay.
Nope, it's all about tone.
Yep. Thank you, Ken. It is a sexy beast. K Sharp 10 says, I can't believe it's still there. Nice guitar. It is a nice guitar. Ken Tipton says, is that on the website? I think it is.
I thought we put it up last week because we
thought
took
we
pictures
did.
And all of that.
Joy is here, and she says she loves the guitar, and she's right. Joy, is that guitar on the website? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. So Mike Jones says he's got a broken truss right inside a nice fender neck. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm gonna have to see it.
Yep. But don't send it here. Next time you're at his house, you can look at it.
Okay.
Ken Tipton says he just checked and it is. Scott says gorgeous SG. I covet it. So anyway, do not send us your neck to put a new truss rod in. We do not do that. Yeah.
No, I would go, oh yeah, it's broken. Here you go.
Yeah. So that's just Joy says that it is on the website under the buy now section. There's a lot of really terrific guitars on the site in the buy now section. Yep. Okay. Are you ready for number 3 in the list of things that every guitar player is positively terrified to do, but should not be terrified to do?
I'm already feeling better about myself because I am a guitar player and I am not scared to adjust my truss rod.
Well, I don't think this one's going to throw you for a loop either. And I'm actually changing it from what I have written down.
Okay.
And that is soldering. That's, we have had hundreds of people come through the shop and do workshops with us. And soldering is something that people are like, I don't know, solder. And, but what is it about soldering, Chris, that 1, why would you want to do it? 2, why are people scared to do it, do you think?
Why would you want to do it? Because it's not a bad skill to have. It's not a bad thing to be able to maybe replace a bad pot or a bad switch, or maybe something bad happens.
What if you wanted to do a little product placement? if you got a guitar that doesn't have Dylan pickups in it,
I was gonna say,
and you go to the,
and you wanted to put some new pickups
and if you go to our link in the description below, you can buy Dylan pickups, and you can get them, and you can solder them and put them in yourself.
Put them in yourself. Yep, it's 4 little solder joints, piece of cake. And why are people scared to do it? I think because they're afraid. They don't know the technique. They don't know the little tricks. They're scared to mess something up. There's a lot of people that talk about, cold solder joints and bad solder joints, and blobby solder joints and all of that, and they're just afraid that because they don't know how to do it, they're not going to be able to learn how to do it.
Dylan's here. Does he have a video or like 50 videos about soldering? Dylan, chime in here.
Probably.
Do you have a bunch of videos, or at least one, about how to do soldering and keeping it simple and making it easy, so when people buy your pickups, they can just do it?
Yeah. And really, for like $30, you can get a pretty nice little soldering station.
They're not super expensive, right? Yeah. And you can use it for lots of stuff.
Halfway decent one, and maybe practice a little bit on something.
What do you think the number one mistake people make when they're soldering is?
They don't clean the tip.
Don't clean the tip. That's right.
I clean the tip before virtually every solder blob. Yeah. Unless I go and then I don't clean it. But as soon as I put that thing back in the stand, as soon as it comes out, I clean it off and then I solder. The other thing is not letting things heat up quite enough to do it. The other thing that I see people do, and this is really weird to me, is instead of putting the soldering iron where they want the solder, they put the solder on the iron and then try and transfer it over. Yeah. I think that's the hard way to do it, because that whole time that you're heating up the thing you want it on, that solder is just getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And that's what creates cold solder joints. You want to make the solder melt as fast as possible onto the thing and then get away from it.
There are some people who don't live in the United States saying that if you put the L back in,
solder.
And guys, I read the comments. I really do. And Driddle needs our help. He says that he's having a hard time convincing his wife that the Silver Burst Challenger Level 4 that's on the website right now makes a terrific Christmas present, which it does.
Apparently it didn't make a terrific wedding anniversary present.
Well, it's got to make a terrific gift then, right?
Driddle thought it did. His wife, not so much. Although I think he bought her hot dogs. So yeah, maybe step up a tad.
Were they like Biker Jim's hot dogs?
No, it was like a 4-pack.
Okay.
I think maybe it was an 8-pack. I don't know. He sent me some photos, but yeah.
It's okay to step up your gift giving game. And I'm not suggesting that a hot dog isn't a good thing, especially, man, I love Biker Jim's hot dogs with the conspiracy topping with that blue cheese and those oniony things. And oh God, those are good. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. It's not cranberry. Is it raspberry?
It's the I don't remember.
Yeah,
bacon.
no, it's good. Yeah,
bacon jam.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm losing. I'm kind of losing track of what is happening here. We
were talking about solder.
Solder, and so get a good soldering iron and get some good solder and give it a shot.
Maybe buy a couple of pots, or go find some used pots and practice soldering on them.
Sure.
Yeah, it's really not that hard. We've taught a bunch of people how to do it.
It's easy and fun. Dylan says he has an online workshop.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Anyway, so soldering is something that I think you should know how to do and not be afraid to do.
Endeavor to pursue.
Yeah. And I also think that a Silver Burst Challenger Level 4 carb top is something you should endeavor to pursue too.
Yeah, it makes a dandy Christmas gift.
Fantastic.
Maybe even a dandy Thanksgiving gift.
Woo, it's right around the corner.
It is right around the corner, yeah.
Okay.
It's only a few weeks away.
All right, you ready for number 4?
Yes.
On the list?
Uh-huh.
And then I want to give an honorable mention, then I'll do number 5.
Okay.
Okay, number 4 on the list, file anything, nut, saddle, any of that stuff. Taking a file to where your strings stop is something that terrifies a lot of people.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to say this is without good reason, because it is very, very easy to get it wrong. But what I hate to see is when somebody goes to, I don't know, Guitar Center or something, and they buy a pre-cut nut and they put it on their guitar and they go, well, it came from Fender, so it must be perfect. And they don't get it exactly perfectly right. So you've got this thing that might be close, but could be spot on. What say ye, Chris?
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that. And yeah, where can I get a nut for this guitar? Well, you can get lots of nuts for that guitar. None of them are going to be perfect out of the box.
Might be close,
but they won't be perfect. Yep. And you know, you've already replaced it once. Go ahead and hack at it. Give it a little file. Give it a little, you know, whatever you think you need to do. If you mess it up, go buy another one.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. Yeah, that's the problem with all this stuff is everybody's afraid to fail, I think.
Maybe.
Or a lot of people are. And, you know, failing is how you learn sometimes.
Now, it does require some tools to do right. And they're not, you know, they're not giving them away. And I do not recommend that you go to Harbor Freight and buy a set of needle files.
Yeah.
Go to Stuart McDonald, get a good set of nut files, whichever one you want from there. They're all going to be good, and they have a lifetime warranty. The neat thing about them is once you get them and once you learn how to use them, you can make money with those files. Guitar players know guitar players, which means that if you are a guitar player who is not afraid to do some filing and you have all the tools, like if you have that digital nut slot depth gauge and a bunch of files, and people find out that, and you know how to use them, and people find out that, and they're your buddies because they play guitar too, don't be one bit surprised if they're like, hey, can I come over and bring you a case of beer and a slice of pizza, or, and a piece of pizza. You'll be surprised how much free crap you get if you have nut tools and know how to use them. So
that's true.
Just out of curiosity, Chris, how, if you have a Gibson Les Paul and the D string is low at the bridge, but every other string is exactly perfect. How do you fix that?
You have to file all the other strings down
and then raise the
raise the whole bridge.
You could also get a replacement saddle and file it, bridge. But or you could get a new bridge, but you wouldn't need to. But so you have to. So having some files is key to getting. Like if you buy a lot of, we're guitar collectors too. You know what I mean? So you get stuff and you're like, man, I need some tools to make these things work, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We've got a little bit more time to talk about the honorable mention. And it's honorable because no one's afraid to do it. People just don't necessarily know quite how to do it. That is, and this is, so people do this all the time. They're not afraid to do it. This is an honorable mention. That is intonate their guitar. Intonating a guitar is something that people put all kinds of emphasis on, man. And I have a very nice customer who was like, his name's Roger. And he said, hey, I've got this guitar and it's perfect, except it doesn't intonate at the 24th fret. Man, I given the guitar that it is, and I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but just, I think you're probably just gonna have to live with that. You know what I mean? Because get it, if it's perfect, 23 frets times 6 strings, actually it would be times 7 strings, and 1 fret is slightly off, don't sweat it. Your bass player will be way more off than you will, and no one's going to hear it when they get to that note. But what do you think about intonating, Chris, and why people do it and why would someone be afraid to do it?
Well, I think a lot of people don't actually understand even what it is. They certainly don't understand how to do it. Because you see all sorts of crazy ways that people think you're supposed to do it. And and that you need all this, you know, you need a strobe tuner and all this other stuff, you know. And
what if you have a strobe tuner?
Okay.
Happy Meal, right? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, if a tuner is good enough to tune open strings and you know, it's good enough to intonate the guitar.
Yeah. Invest all the money that you want in the tools, but you're gonna need
and then figure out, you know, what's going on and how it works. And also you know, it's got to be way off for you to be able to hear it. Otherwise, you're probably just fat fingering the strings and bending stuff sharp.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Did our feed get cut out again?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But Curtis says he might have been talking about yesterday when we were, or last week.
Time? Yeah.
Actually, we think there was a car wreck and someone crashed into something.
It's getting to be that time though. There was a blip of power surge, and then we couldn't get back on because it knocked the internet down.
Yeah.
And that took, you know, minutes to re-up.
But it's not the first time where we've talked about Gibson and we lost it. I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah. Be careful. So intonation. People get really wound up about it. I watched a video today and the guy was playing like big cowboy chords, and he's like, if you're like me, you can hear this guitar needs intonating. And I'm like, no effing way can you hear that it needs to be intonated when you're playing on the first 3 frets. That's an impossibility. You're bending the notes sharp by playing too heavy.
Question for you, Chris. If every single note on your guitar, except those notes on the 24th fret, is perfectly intonated, what's wrong with the 24th fret?
I don't know.
It's in the wrong spot, or it's been filed so much that the crown of the fret is shifted to one side or the other and needs to be.
It could be. I can't imagine that you can drive yourself nuts.
Yep.
You know, you put a tuner on and you're sitting there playing and you're watching that tuner and it's bouncing all over the place. And things are, oh man, that G that I just played wasn't a completely perfect G. It was slightly off. Oh man, I'm gonna, you know,
I can tell you that all the places that Hawk Attack plays, no one hears the guitar.
Nobody cares about G's.
Intonated, probably.
Thanks
guys for letting me know that we're still good. I just got kind of crazy. I forgot the anyway. Okay, so the final thing that I want to talk about that of the top 5 things that every guitar player is positively terrified to do. And Chris, this one is specifically for you to address.
Okay.
This is, and I hesitate to even say this one because it's probably something that most guitar players should not worry about, but I think they're afraid to do it. Finish repairs.
Okay.
So Chris is I'm gonna vamp for a little while and give you some time to think about how to expound on that.
Okay.
Expand on that.
Okay.
Some time to riff on that. But guys, let me know what you think about my list of the top 5 things every guitar player is terrified to do. Play the guitar, adjust the truss rod, solder something, file the nut or bridge, and finally, finish repair. Now, personally, I don't necessarily think that you should do a lot of finish repair on your own guitar.
I don't think so either.
Unless you just so happen to be really good. Okay, ready to go.
I mean, damage is part of the deal, right?
Yeah.
And unless you're, you know, buying guitars as a collector or as a, you know, scratches are going to happen, dents are going to happen. It's made out of wood. It's soft. It's like your car, you know. I mean, if you drive your car, it's probably going to get bumped eventually.
Like when you buy a brand new car and you're like, oh man, I've got the first scratch.
Away. Yeah. Or somebody gives you a door ding or whatever it is. Yeah. And unfortunately that's, you know, part of what happens. About the only time I think I would try finish repair is if the damage was going to spread.
Oh, okay. That's a great one. What does that mean?
So let's say that let's say that your guitar fell and it bumped a corner.
Okay.
And a chunk started to come off, but it didn't come all the way off.
Okay.
You could pop that off, or you could maybe put a little glue on it and reinforce it and make it stay in place.
Okay.
So that the rest of it didn't come off,
Okay.
or, continue to, break apart.
Okay.
But other than that, it's unfortunate when that stuff happens, but
every so often we have finished stuff that needs to get repaired. And of course, the best way to do it is to add new paint, or
Yeah.
I mean, what? Like,
yeah, probably. There's guys that make a living repairing stuff like that, and
Yeah.
they get really, really good at it. I can do a little bit of that, but not much. You can almost always, sort of tell. And sometimes I think the repair looks worse than the actual damage.
Yeah.
Because it looks like, oh yeah, it's been repaired.
Given
What's wrong with the ding in it? Dings happen.
Yeah, and the guitar is meant to be played. So,
Mm-hmm.
given my list, where do you put finish repair work on things that should guitar players be a little recalcitrant to do finish repairs, or
yeah, I mean, there's some guys that are like that's cool, if it gets dented, oh,
Yeah.
that's part of the story. Okay. There's other guys that are just freak out about every single thing like that.
Yeah.
And okay, that's fine too. I don't know. I can't answer to each person's ability to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Super glue and fingernail polish go a long way
Yep.
towards maybe sort of fixing some of that stuff. Magic marker works good, especially on
Sometimes.
black.
Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
one of the very, very first Hawk Attack practices that we had, this was 15 years ago, Brett got a brand new Les Paul, and it was one of the Les Paul classics. I don't know if you remember those, but they had like exposed coil humbuckers, and it was a neat guitar, but he was playing it like he hadn't played it out, and he set it down and he did something, and a chunk of it came off.
Yeah.
And it was like dangling there. A chunk of mahogany came off the back. And it was his fault. I mean, he did it. And he was like, oh, well, picked it off and threw it, and was like, kept playing. But yeah, that's just kind of the way he is, that, well, I mean, things happen. And again, it's his guitar, and and Brett would be the first to say he did something. He set it down weird, or something happened. And yeah, got a chunk of the guitar came off, and he picked at it and threw it away. Yeah. So
I would probably save the chunk.
Okay.
And try and put it back on.
Yeah.
When I get home.
Yeah.
Joke about it, but yeah, I'd probably be a little more bummed than he was.
Brett was not bummed out at all. Yeah. He's had lots and lots of Gibsons, and some of them, the headstocks broke off, and he's like, as long as the guitar plays,
yeah. If is that gonna is that damage gonna slow his rocking down?
No. In fact, it might speed it up.
Yeah. Then okay. Yeah. Because if you're not rocking, you're not rocking. Yeah.
It's funny too, because Brett is one of the of all the guitar players that I know, Brett's definitely one of them. No, he's absolutely one of the guys who treats his instruments as though they were tools. I don't know very many people who go, oh man, my hammer got a ding on the head, or my screwdriver handle is scratched or whatever. And Brett's the same way with his guitars. He just, So anyway, Curtis says, my Gretsch Viking has plastic binding that is starting to crumble where the arm rests. Sadly, I don't think that there will be an easy fix for it. Probably not, Curtis. And I would recommend that you be very, very careful with any repair that you decide to make.
It's probably celluloid binding that's starting to off gas and break apart, and that can actually be careful. leaving it in a case, because that stuff can off gas and ruin a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Tarnish parts. And
Okay.
yeah, it can be a real issue when that starts to happen. So
K-Sharp10 says, I know guys with basses and guitars that have played the snot out of them and have relic wear, but nowhere like they try to replicate. That's why I dislike radical relics. Yuck. I have not acquiesced to relics like I do not care for them. I appreciate honest wear.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody in a guitar workshop says, "Oh, I messed this up, I guess I'll just turn it into a relic," that's the worst thing you can say to me. I would be more apt to agree with you if you built the perfect guitar and then said, "Now I'm going to, put a bunch of Ginders in it." Because that's what the Fender factory does.
Yeah.
They don't start out with, wrecked guitars and relic them. They start with new stuff and ruin them.
Accidental sand throughs that become starting points for relic.
Yep. Peter says repairing guitar finish is one of the hardest jobs. You can soon get out of hand fast. Leave it alone unless it's structural. That's good advice. Scott says, I don't know how the hell somebody would let their guitar get like some of these relics out there, have some guitars for over 30 years and they still look great. That's the other. Yeah. Like you can have an old guitar and it still looks terrific. It doesn't look like some of those relics. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're trying to make them look like, 50s and 60s, early 60s kind of stuff, 40s, 50s and 60s, early stuff. And finish is just way, way different. And, one of the reasons that Fender switched from the maple neck, which had lacquer all over the fingerboard, was it wore off really fast within months. According to some people, those necks started looking kind of bad.
Yeah.
So that material is just completely different from what we have now.
Didn't Leo Fender see some guys on TV who had maple necks and he's like, those look kind of tacky.
Yeah. Brought back guitars or whatever. Yeah. And it was like, oh shit. So yeah. Touring musicians would come by and they'd work on their amps, and the whole reason they stopped using tweed was for the same reason. It started looking really ratty, really fast. Okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
And they started using Tolex. And so, just, I get the idea that old guitars are cool and I can't afford an old guitar. So I'm going to, beat this one up, but to make it look real is hard.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are just about out of time. In fact, we are very, very close to being out of time. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. I'd like to thank Chris for being here. I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out and listening to me talk about a fairly obviously tongue-in-cheek thing, that the 5 things that every guitar player is. Obviously, you're not all terrified to do those things. I want to thank all of our sponsors.
Guitar players are terrified to tune up when they play a guitar at Guitar Center.
Gosh, it would seem that way, wouldn't it?
It's never been easier to tune a guitar, and yet every time I go in, I'm like, that guitar's out of tune. That guitar's out of tune.
Oh man, I'm sleepy.
And when are guitars going to start coming with a tuner?
I hope never. That's akin to the Robo tuner, right? You just plug it.
No, I mean, a lot of acoustics have tuners on them now.
They have built-in tuners. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it just seems like something that would be nice to have.
Yep. I disagree. I think that amps with a tuner built on.
Well, that would be fine too. Yeah. And actually not very many do.
Well, let me ask you real quick, Chris, while we have just a few moments. And by the way, gang, remember Dylan and his lovely wife, Leslie, are going to be wrapping up this 3-hour-long thing with their Thursday Night Live video. But Chris, if we could get little teeny tiny things that went onto the body of the Challenger guitar, would you want to put those on there? I mean, you and I are manufacturers. We could kickstart this trend.
Yeah. No, I don't want something that looks. I want somebody else to come up with this. And really,
okay.
It's not. I want a tuner in the box. I don't necessarily want the tuner on the guitar.
Okay.
But in this day and age, there's no reason for every room in your house to not have a clip-on tuner.
Agreed.
Or a tuner on your amp, or a tuner pedal, or a.
Agreed.
There's
We've
no
got
reason to not have your guitar in tune.
We've got 1 minute. Chris, what are people going to say when they see the reveal tomorrow?
Wow, that's cool.
They won't know whether to sing Christmas carols or wipe the poop out of their pants.
I was
It's
going to
be
say
that
something
exciting.
about poop.
Yeah.
Sing Christmas carols or poop.
I mean, I'm just trying to think. Okay.
They're all going to plots.
Guys, there's going to be a super cool reveal tomorrow unless something goes terribly, terribly wrong. So anyway, let's keep your fingers crossed.
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx us. We will see you tomorrow for a reveal of some kind. Bobby Dale, by the way, your guitar is done. And maybe we'll show that off tomorrow too.
We should.
So gang, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you tomorrow.